Hi everyone, I'm back with another layout process video. This one is called Silly Boy and was done April 9th of 2017. It is layout number 23 out of 100. I did use most of the collection from Boy's Rule, and I did use that blue star green background paper. That's from the Boys Rule. This orange paper that I'm backing is from Little Boys and Their Toys by the Paper Studio, and I completely just cut the paper all the way across instead of gutting it, which I forgot I was gonna do, and because I wanted to back the paper with it. So here I'm just matting my photograph. I'm using one of my Copic markers, and it was probably a C7. I just grabbed one that's semi-dark, that's not completely black. I didn't want it to go all the way black, mainly because I don't have a lot of black elements on this. I do line the orange paper to give it some definition, and I also line it with some red paper, also from that Paper Studio Little Boys and Their Toys paper stack. That paper is really flimsy, so I wasn't really worried about layering too many papers. And also because I don't, since that paper is thin, the Boys Rule paper from Crate Paper isn't thin, it's a little bit better quality. I decided to use they're not branding strips, but they do come from the paper pad, and that one striped pattern paper that you do see in there is an actual journaling card that is from Echo Park Paper. And so here I'm showing you that I just cut a bunch of bits, and this one 2x2 card is from We Are Memory Keepers, and it came in a mini album set. I can't recall the name, but I picked it up at Tuesday morning. So I'm using that as sort of a frame or somewhere to, I'm going to start an embellishment side there. And most of these cut-aparts, shopping for areas for cut-apart stuff, I did use those elements, I'm so sorry, came from the Crate Paper Boys Roll pack. That's mainly where I got all of these elements, like the cassettes, the tickets, the word phrases. All of those things came from a cut-apart sheet in the paper stack from Boys Roll. So here, I wanted to have a title, and I want to use up things that I haven't been using a lot. And one of those things that I've neglected a lot, because I do tend to kind of be a lazy scrapper, is using my silhouette machine. But I went ahead and cut apart this title, and it's a cut file from the Silhouette store, and it says Silly Boy, and I cut it out 6 times so that I can layer it and then glue it all together. And there's a Rubik's Cube and the word rad. Oh, those are from Crate Paper Boys Roll. And here I'm just showing you a bit about how I put the title together so that it'd have some dimension. It's not it's not quite as thick as a thicker sticker, but I mean, it does give it some dimension, and you can tell that it's not just cut once. So I really like that. It's a little bit time consuming, but it was worth it to me. And so I tried to outline the title a la Mercy Tiara or Tracy Banks from YouTube, or Mercy Tiara from YouTube. Her name is Tracy Banks. But I am not a very good outliner, so I tried it twice, and I still ended up messing up both times, and I just cut a piece of pattern paper. If you can tell by my thumb, right by the S, I didn't like that, so I just cut a little piece of that same colored paper from the scraps and just glued it on top of it, so that it wouldn't be able to show up so much. So I do line this up, and maybe I should have just cut some of this. Oh, I do. There's a jump, and I do end up using those arrows. They're from the Y part, and I made 2 little arrows, but I meant to do 3 by gluing 2 of those bits together, and I only found 2 of them, so I didn't end up using the third one. So here I am pretty much set on where I'm putting and how I'm making my layout, because I decided to put the title towards the bottom left hand corner and my picture to the top right. So here I'm just arranging the cut apart elements that I picked. This says awesome, and I decided to fishtail the ends, and I glue that onto the picture, and then I try to make another embellishment cluster. So I want your eye to follow the different pictures and also down to the title. And what I realized is that I needed some space for the journaling, so I end up typing up my journaling, and I print it out in red type from my computer, and print it out on the printer, of course, and then make little journaling strips, and I end up tracing those out once I glue them down. So here I needed something to back my title, and I really didn't mind the trapped, I guess it's not white space, but the trapped space between the orange flag and the picture, because the title is coming across onto the photograph mats anyway. So what I also did was the top left embellishment cluster. I did put a couple of strips of the green star, or yellow, excuse me, the blue star green pattern paper. I put a small strip on the top and on the bottom on the inside of the picture, because I was trying to cover up the fact that we were trying on hats, and directly behind them was a bunch of bras, because we were at Walmart. And this talks about how he had a love for hats at this age, and he was about 2 or 3, or right around when he turned 3, because it does say that in the journaling. And he ended up picking that top left hat. That top left hat was so useful because, well, one, everybody complimented him on it, and two, whenever he was in a crowd, he was easy to pick out because everybody else had like simple one color uniform hats, and they didn't have any shapes, and I could always find him in a crowd with that hat. And now my younger son uses it now. But this is just pictures of him trying on the hats and being a goofball, and I just want him to remember this time, because he's just really cute. I really like the way he looked in hats, and he still does. He wears caps now, but it's just they come so much into their personalities when they're little, and I mean, he really had his own little preferences and styles, and I would indulge him in those little things like that. So I just wanted him to be, I want him to be a little kid as much as possible. With this day and age, all the kids and stuff growing up too fast, I just want him to stay like this a little bit longer, especially since I know I'm not going to have any more children aside from my 2 boys. So I think I'm just going to relish as much as I can from it, because I mean, my son is now, this one, he's just around 3 there, and now he's 8, so it goes by super quick. And here I was showing you that I'm using my roller phrase stamps too. I decided to stamp like every other pattern, or patterns that you were able to read the stamped image through. So I picked some out, and I'm just stamping it. I use a couple of Dear Lizzie and a couple of Amy Tangerine roller phrase stamps, and I'm inking those with Heidi Swapp black ink. And you can tell that they're different roller phrase stamps because the handles are different colors. And at this point, I had already glued down the ephemera on the middle of the picture, the top left and the bottom left. And I also put in Flare, and they're from Studio Calico and also from Basic Gray. Back here, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to write for the journaling, and I already know I'm going to type it up, so I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I had I took a minute to make sure that I knew what I was going to write before I typed it up on the computer. So it reads something to the effect of, Orion, my sweet hilarious boy, right around when you turned 3 years old, you developed a great love for anything hats, but you especially liked the character ones. When we went out shopping once for a winter hat, we took quite a few pictures of you in several options at your behest. Of course, true to form, you chose the zaniest one of all, the monster hat on the top left. Fantastic choice. So that's what the journaling says, and here I'm just outlining the journaling that I had typed up and printed on my computer. I'm outlining it with a pen, and I'm trying to show you some of the close-up images, and I do have close-ups of the layout. And thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Like the video, that would help me out a great deal, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.